Hi. So this is my 6 month working out and eating right. And so I'm doing a fit bursary video. Um, just to update people on the last time I weighed myself. I was weighing 280, which I was really excited because that was like actually my goal was to get back to the weight that I was before I had my bad breakup, so that was great. A lot of stuff has happened since then, and not necessarily good stuff. And so, I just want to share what's been going on. So I'll start off with, I was doing really great. A lot of stuff was happening, and then I started facing a lot of health issues. And this time wasn't more necessarily things that I could control as far as when I first started this journey in September of 2014, I started it because of the diabetes and the fatty liver disease and all these things that, one was my fault that I had gotten to that point, and two, that I know that I could take control and change it. But then January rolled along, and, was faced with a lot of stuff, a lot of depression. I had something really personal happen to me, and I'm not ready to talk about that, but I will say that it just put me like in this deep, deep depression. And I started turning to food again. Uh, the only thing that kind of kept me sane was the fact that I was still working out. Um, but I found myself just like eating, and I don't mean like I wasn't eating as I was doing it before, as far as, when I was in my big depression a few years ago, like 3 years ago, I would eat Domino's pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like I would order 3 large pizzas, have them there, and eat that like throughout the day. A 2 liter of Coke, like that's what I used to eat. What I mean by overeating, I was eating more carbs. Like I was eating an extra piece of bread, and normally, like for breakfast, I'll have like 1 piece of wheat bread. So I was eating two. So that's what I mean by like overeating. But I was still turning to food, which was just putting me in a really bad mood. Um, you know, and then I had a lot of support from like friends that were just really, trying to get me out of that funk. And it worked for a little bit, and then when I thought I was like out of that funk, life just came at me again and tried to tear me down. Few years ago, 3 years ago, I had a tumor in my uterus and in my ovaries. And at the time when I had this tumor, I was 22 years old. And that was one of the hardest experiences that I've ever had in my entire life, because it was to the point that like I went in one day because I just wasn't feeling well, and next thing I know, they have me in the hospital under intensive care telling me that I need to have surgery. And the only reason why they didn't operate me like right away was because they noticed that my blood level was just so low that I didn't have enough blood to like last me through a surgery. So I had to have like 5, 6 packs of blood transfusion inside of me until that was able to happen. And then doctors were telling my mom that they had to remove my uterus because the size of the tumor was like the size of a tennis ball. And so it was like one of the most hardest experiences that I've ever had to face in my entire life. And doctors said that it would probably come back soon, but I just wasn't expecting for it to happen so fast. And right now I'm just trying to deal with that. So the tumor's back. It's in my left ovary now, and you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm sad. Yeah, I've been depressed about it. I've had my moment of rage and whatnot, but I just gotta keep moving. Unlike 3 years ago, I didn't have a support system. So I turned to food. That was my support system. Now I'm still in pain because of this, because it's really stressful to try to pretend like it's not there. But I gotta push forward. I can't let life wants to tear me down. It really does. And I'm learning that I just need to be focused and keep myself sane, because I'm doing this. Like, I'm not letting anyone or anything stop me. For years, I allowed people to tell me that I couldn't be an actress because I was too big. For years, I allowed people to tell me I shouldn't pursue musical theater because I was just not appealing to look at on stage. For years, I let teachers, friends, people, my mother, people just tell me that I couldn't. And sometimes I feel like I can't. But then, right now, what I like to explain to people, I'm in this like natural high. For the first time, I feel like I can do anything. And yeah, it's hard. Like, sometimes I feel like giving up, but this little person inside of me is saying, no, you can do it, and you know, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So as far as the tumor goes, I've been to the doctors to have some tests done to see if it's benign or if it's cancerous. If it's cancerous, I'll start treatment. But it's just a lot of shit. And, you know, I wish sometimes I had someone to go through this pain with me, as far as like, maybe like a boyfriend or something. But I don't know, everything happens for a reason. Right now, I am not looking to date anyone. I want to, for the first time, have a relationship with Shelby. For the first time, to feel love for myself. And, sometimes I may come across as a cocky bitch, but I'm not. For the first time, you have to understand, when your whole life you think of yourself as the most ugliest thing in the world. And for the first time to see results and see, like, my face is thin. For the first time, like, my arms, like this right here, I think, people might think this is disgusting, and yeah, it looks disgusting, but I am so happy every time I see this just like sag. I know I'm doing the work. I know I'm seeing the results, and that's what matters to me. And so, yeah, at times I feel lonely. I live alone, so, I feel lonely, but at the same time, I'm just really happy that I'm having this relationship with myself. And, so that's, as far as the tumor, that's what that is. I'm still working hard every single day. Um, I've incorporated more things into my diet, as far as I was really giving up on red meat, but then I realized, oh, fuck it, I love red meat. I mean, I'm not eating red meat like crazy, but I'm definitely not just eating turkey burgers like I was before, just because I felt as though I was depriving, and like every day I'm learning something. So I'm learning that it's not about depriving myself from foods I like, it's just portion control. And I mean, I have measuring cups that I take with me everywhere to my job. I have some in my desk at my job. I take them everywhere, and I just really measure food. And that's the key, and that's what's been helping me. A lot of people ask me what I do. I get a lot of messages from a lot of people on Facebook just asking me what I'm doing. And, I've decided that I'm gonna start making, like, sharing what I'm doing. I mean, it may not work for a lot of people, but it works for me. And, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. So far now, in the month of March, it has been 6 months, and that's crazy. I've never committed myself to anything for more than like 2 weeks. And so for me, the fact that I've been doing this for 6 months, it just shows me what I can do when I believe that I can. And so I've lost so far about 73 pounds. I started at 333 pounds in September, and in December, my last video, I was 280, and now I'm 260, which 260 is a very exciting number for me. Why, you may ask? Because 260 was the weight that I was at the end of high school. That's how much I weigh at the end of high school. And this is a little secret about me. I've never changed my weight on my resume, ever. It stayed at 260. Even when I was 333 pounds auditioning in New York City, I was lying. That's not my weight. And I'm sure the casting directors or even auditions I went in before were like, this girl is not 333 pounds. I mean, sorry, 260. Just because I was lying, you know? And now I can proudly say that I weigh what I actually put on my resume. And, you know, eventually that number is going to change. And I'm going to have to update that. So that's exciting in itself. I don't know. I've just been finding a lot of strength. And lately, you know, I've just been talking to a lot of friends who are artists. And, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I went to go visit a friend who's like also one of my mentors. And if you haven't seen his show, you must watch on Netflix Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. He plays Titus, and his name is Titus Burgess. Look him up on YouTube. Literally the most amazing human being on earth. And hanging out with him and his boyfriend, who I also hold very dear to my heart, my Pablo, my Reina, just really inspired me, you know, because Titus is someone that has been through so much, and I am so happy that the world is finally seeing what I've always known, what I've admired him since I was in the 6th grade. So for me to, you know, just see him blow up like this, it's amazing. But anyway, he just really reminded me of my craft and, you know, my purpose. And that was a really good trip that I took to New York City 2 weeks ago. And this past week, I went to see Billy Porter. He was in Philadelphia. And if you don't know Billy Porter, Google him. He's a very inspiring human being, Broadway diva and extraordinaire. Just love him to death. And he just really inspired me. His story, just as far as like his Broadway career, as far as him detaching himself for a while from the work, really inspired me, because that's what I'm going through. A lot of people give me shit all the time saying, oh, why aren't you acting? Why aren't you doing this? But they don't understand that I need to take this time off to work on Shelby. And so, yeah, I hate the judgment, but at the same time, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. And maybe a little bit sooner than expected, because I was hoping to be down in the hundreds before I came back. But, you know, there's a couple of things lined up. Not sharing much because it's not official yet, but expect me to come back. So I'm going to let the haters talk. Say what you want, because I'm fucking fierce and I'm happy, and that's all that matters. And the last bit of news that I want to share is, you know, for a while I was saying that I was going to have gastric bypass, which, you know, something that I've always wanted. But after going to the meeting with the surgeons, the nutritionist said something very important to me. She said, you know, surgery is for people who have tried everything and nothing has ever worked. Have you ever tried anything? And I looked at her and I said, well, no. And she said, well, you've already lost 40 pounds. Just try and do that. So the only reason why I was having the surgery wasn't because I didn't believe I can do it. It's because my liver was drenched in fat and I didn't want to have liver cancer. But I've decided, and so I'm making it official now, that I will not be having the surgery. And I'm going to take the risk, and I'm going to take a chance on my liver. Because, I mean, I still can get cancer on my liver at any time, just because of the amount of fat that the liver has. But I'm going to take the chance, and I'm just going to fucking do it all by myself. It's going to be harder, but I mean, that's just what it is. So this is my video for this month. Subscribe, comment, share. I want to inspire anyone who doesn't think they can. That's how I started this journey. I started watching Extreme Makeover Weight Loss Edition, um, and that's what inspired me. So I want to do that for someone, because I'm sure there's people like me who've been brought down before and said you can't, you can't, you can't, and then now I'm doing it. So if I can do it, so can you. So, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll be keeping you updated. Bye.